Howdy, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of JT Real Talk Industry Leaders. Enjoy.
Hey, how are you? I'm so sorry. Hang on.
That's okay, Jerome. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for being here. How's your day?
You know what? I'm happy to do this. Happy to talk to you. I was just at our local Rotary meeting. We raised a bunch of money that we're going to give away to some families for the holidays, which is cool. And then I just got on our board, or reelected to our board of realtors, and had our first board meeting this morning that went longer because it was a budget meeting. So, here at 20 till 2, I'm starting my day, on things that I need to do.
Got it. Well, wow, man. Busy schedule. Again, thank you for being.
How's your day, man? I guess, I mean, I know we've got stuff to talk about, but I was like doing a little bit of homework on you. Like this is a unique thing that you've got going.
Yeah, it is. Day's been good. You're my third podcast of the day. So I'm a licensed realtor here in Austin. This is, oh gosh, sorry. I've gotten so many spam calls today. I don't know what is going on. So yeah, I've been a licensed realtor for going on 5 years. And with the way the industry's going and the market trends are, is you just don't have an excuse not to actually put something together, social media and otherwise. And so, I kind of set out to really begin this sort of unique outreach because for sellers, buyers, I think what they're looking for is, especially in today's day and age where it's tons of AI and technology, we're still in people business, people persons. And so, yeah. And in order to kind of, help to generate my own business and not rely so much on a brokerage giving me leads or things like that, it's what we all should be doing as realtors, right? In general.
Right.
And I figure why not just talk to people locally around here. That's great, of course, but let me reach out to the rest of the country and just see what's going on and see if I can make a connection or two or learn from anybody else. And that's
Dude, I have to tell you that's super cool, and maybe it warrants more conversation after this because I'm I no, I just think what you're doing is awesome, and I think that if you're able to build a base and you've got however many people that are doing this, super cool, super cool, and it goes back to, I don't know how many of these you have gone to, but so you get into stuff as far as associations go, or you get into stuff as far as some of I think it used to be now it's the Residential Real Estate Council, or however it goes. And so you get those designations and you go to like their events, or you go to the Inman events, or you go to your national conventions, and it's that whole thing of, you bring some cards, hey, do this, hey, because if I'm going, man, I need an agent in Austin, I know I can call Jeff, or he'll know somebody, or and it's, the amount of business that I've got an agent in our office who has done, I bet you he'll do 200 grand in just referrals this year, right? I mean, he sends out 20, 25, whatever, for everything from a condo to some commercial deals. So you just never know. And as far as your return on investment, a couple of phone calls, full, Zoom call here or there, and hello, you're getting 25%, whatever it is. Pretty good last I checked, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, buy a lead and that may turn into one lead or
Mhm.
one deal. But the transaction, when you're working with someone, or rather the relationship begins at the closing table. You go through the transaction and then it's at that closing table that the relationship really begins. And, so that one person can refer you to five people as opposed to just one lead being one lead and it's closed done deal. And yeah, that seems 101, but I tell you what, there's been many times I'm guilty of it myself where, I've unfortunately not done, um, what the follow-up is needed. And
Oh, sure.
there goes some referrals for me. So,
I mean, and in your area, I mean, there's probably a whole lot more folks, and maybe that's what we're going to talk about. And I don't mean to keep rabbit trailing here, but shame on me if I did the deal with somebody and, like, say I had the buyer, and then the listing agent stays in touch with them instead, and when they go to sell, they call them instead of you. In
mhm,
our area, shame on me, right? Like, that should have been a layup, and
yeah,
right. I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
And thanks for opening up like that. I think it's important that we have these agent to agent sort of conversations to help those other agents that maybe need to hear it or just starting. And that's also a big reason for this podcast is, not strictly selfishly me just trying to get my stuff out there, but
Right.
I'd like to be able to give back a little bit and provide information or any sort of education or help that other agents may be seeking as well without really even knowing it. And, they have a chance to actually hear conversations from real agents.
Right.
So thanks for being here, Jerome. I really appreciate it. So that was a great opening. Honestly, I appreciate that. Tell me who you are, which brokerage you're with,
Okay, sure,
location,
sure.
and kind of how you got your start in the industry.
Okay, let me try to be succinct here. My name is Jerome Blaget. I am an agent at the Wells Group Real Estate Brokerage in Durango, Colorado. I've actually worked here. It'll be 13 years in January. But before that, I worked for 7 years for a local Coldwell Banker agent. All right, we've got one office here, and I got into real estate there. Taking a few more steps back. Was born in Houston. My folks moved us up here when I was in high school, and my dad's a baker in town, so he does that, but he also dabbled in real estate. And at a point, he said, "Hey, why don't you get your license?" And I was going to school, and we've got a small liberal arts college here named Fort Lewis that you can come and get a good business degree, but you can also get a good degree in partying and skiing and everything else, right?
Wow.
Now, and you guys are in Austin, so I think you probably know a few things about that, right? Um, so, so then it turned into, over the years, he'd met a few people. So I knew two people in real estate when I passed my test. One happened to be the managing broker at Coldwell Banker. His name was John Mahoney. And I said, "John, is anybody looking for an assistant?" He had a lady she was a very high producing agent, became one of my mentors. She said, "Hey, would you come I need an assistant." And that grew into a partnership that lasted. I was her assistant, and then we were a team for a couple of years, but then I had to get out on my own just because I got busy and did that. So around 2006, is that right? No, it was 2016. I got licensed. But so around 2000, sorry, here we go. We're in 25. And I can't do simple math here. I came over to the Wells Group, and have been here as a broker since then. Worked in various capacities with a few folks, but I've been recruited for about a year to come here. We're the market leader in our stuff. We're part of what they call leading real estate companies of the world. So it's all literally I think it's the boutique firms that have got that stuff where they're there's only one of us or two of us or whatnot. So we do that, and we're the market leader in Southwest Colorado.
Oh,
I don't know if that answers your question or not.
yeah, and some. Thank you. Okay, so you've been with the Wells Group for about 13 years. You went to high school in Houston. I see your Houston Astros pennant back there.
Yeah, man.
Asterisks pendant.
Oh man, are you a Rangers fan?
I am a Rangers fan.
Oh, buddy, I'm not going to say I'm so sorry, but I was born in in the Clear Lake area. Actually born in Houston proper at St. Luke's Hospital, but we lived in Clear Lake, Webster area until 92-ish. And my folks moved us up here because my mom had a cousin. My dad would come up here to go deer hunting. Super, so we're definitely in that Four Seasons kind of place of the world, right? Where ski season definitely happens in the winter if we get good snow. Spring is mud season, as we always like to say. Summer is great for if you want to get out and kayak or ride your bike or do that kind of stuff. And then fall is good. It's just people come up from all over the place to see just the aspens change color and that kind of thing. So it's a cool
Sure.
thing, and there's always something happening in or around the area as far as it goes. I mean, for a little town, I think it was, thank all of the publications out there, most, hippest ski towns or places to retire or blah blah blah, or it used to be harder to get here, right? We're if you're driving, we're 3 hours from Albuquerque. We're, depends on where you're going. In Denver, we're 6 or 7 hours. Salt Lake City, we're 7 hours. Phoenix, we're 7 and 8 hours depending on where you're going. So it's, I don't want to say we're best kept secret, but it used to be harder to get here. But long about I think it was happening way before, but long about COVID, if somebody said, "Hey, telework, hey, work from home," and somebody may as well have, done the starting gun for a, race, and it was like, get here as fast as you can. I mean, and we were, probably 20 to 22 was like breakneck.
Oh yeah.
You're not first, you may as well be 50th, kind of thing, and just go, 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 go. And we have heard some, but, and again, I don't want to steal your thunder for where maybe we go with this, but everybody always talks about a bubble that's going to pop, right? And as far as real estate goes, we are more in a bubble that seems to be insulated, where the rest of the world is, I don't know, it just feels, it goes up, it goes down, it goes, kind of thing. So I started in '06, right when things were, the mortgage meltdown had happened, had done everything. Even then, year over year, we were at we still went up 2.5% in our market, and that's the low mark of what I've seen in the last 2.5 or 20, almost 20 years doing this.
Mm.
Um, want to be here? People want to be here. I mean, we've seen people make crazy money. I mean, just for, and again, not for doing nothing, but houses that used to be 40 and 50,000 back in the day have been bought up, and they probably not unlike what you see there in Austin, right? Where you buy a scraper for 300,000 at 400,000, and you turn around and you build $1 million house on it because that's the only dirt you can find, right?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
probably way more than sorry.
No, Jerome, this is exactly like, I mean, it's free flowing, and really it's just, kind of getting to know each other and each other's business, and your market is interesting to me. Durango, because yeah, you think it's a tourist destination. You don't think that there's going to be a lot of real estate turnover. What's the population?
I want to say in town we're nearing 20,000, but I mean that'd be incorporated as far as town goes. But then you've got all the private, what is considered rural. I don't think we are 60,000 in the county yet.
Wow.
Again, I know you. I mean, isn't that's less than the undergrad at UT, right?
Exactly. No, it's just it's great to hear that the market there, it flourished and continues to stay on a nice upward trajectory when it comes to appreciation, because again, it comes across as a vacation resort area that there's not going to be a lot of turnover. People just buy their little cabins and hang on to them. But to hear that the market there still continues to trend up in the mix of so much that has been going on, and with the cities where people are flocking to are getting hit the worst when it comes to this correction. So I'm glad to hear that for you and your market.
Well, I mean, and again, yeah, I was trying to think of the direction to go here, right? The thing that I've seen living here for almost 35 years, got to see people when we were in school. Now I know people that are coming back because they're dealing with aging parents, or they're wanting to come back and start a family, or they're wanting to do that, and in a, and again, I know you guys have elevated prices, but if I said for the most part, you tell me our median price in town, we're not at $1 million yet, but I mean, I think we're darn near close to 800, right? So, if you're not dual income and don't have some money to help you, you're getting relegated to a couple of the outlying communities, and it's oh, how do you say? It used to be, hey, you got a condo for under 200,000. Awesome. Now then it was, hey, you got a little bungalow for under three. Sweet. Then we went to four. And then I think we completely missed five. Like we high jumped that thing, and we were, that ship sailed. And even some of the outlying communities are now in the fives and sixes. And you figure, I mean, that's still a pretty good nut with interest rates the way they are. And
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That median price range is great, and the fact that there's still buyers coming, and that it's still going up about that 2.5%, that's fantastic. We've been a bit macro with this. Let's get a little micro with your business. I know that you've been with, what you mentioned, Wells Group for 13 years. Must be going pretty well there. What does your day to day look like? How are you feeling about your business in general? Are there any pain points you still have that you're struggling to get over?
have you heard so our office is huge. They're huge in have you heard of ninja selling?
Ninja sound. It sounds familiar.
Okay, so there was a gentleman by the name of Larry Kendall who started he has the group real estate company in Fort Collins, and they literally have gone all over the place. And he's got a stable of folks. We're big proponents of this sales course, and the reason they call it Ninja is I think one of the guys that helped him develop it was he was not a ninja, but he was he liked ninjas and they kung fu movies and stuff. But it kind of focuses on it's the whole what you focus on expands principle, and it's that idea of showing up, right? Of showing up every day, of getting on the phone or sending they're big proponents of personal note cards. They're big proponents of getting into your community, and I mean they call it flow, right? It's everything that we're doing in our lives, right? If you're volunteering at the soup kitchen, or if you're on the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters, or you're doing that, you're into your community and you're doing that kind of thing. I mean, as much as we can buy Zillow leads, as much as we can get on realtor.com or do that kind of thing, this is much more, and it's also making your phone calls. It's also what are the touch points that you can get on. And our office has also got, well, I mean, different places, different models call it opportunity time. We call it floor time. If you just, they're always gonna have a broker on call, right? And different people have had a few listings come in because of that. They just call up and they're like, hey, I've got a condo on the mountain. I need to sell it. Sure. How can we help? Right. Or you've got the referral business like we talked about. But, for example, on a Wednesday is our office meeting day. And we come in, that's probably the day that the most people are here. We have we go through all our new inventory. We talk about wants and needs in the office. We talk about new listings that are to come. And then we will kind of do all that stuff, and then we will go out and hit a certain neighborhood in the area and go see new listings, new inventory, do that and come back. And then it's, make calls, try to schedule some face to face with whether it's lenders, whether it's home inspectors, whether it's going to see the title folks. Then you're talking to clients, talking to your sphere, seeing who's ready to do something, and kind of going from there. And I mean, I find myself needing to be pretty, I don't know, using my calendars a whole lot more, right? I'm that guy. I mean, I could joke with you and tell you that right before I came to see you, um, was at Rotary, so saw a bunch of people there, which is great for networking. And then stopped. My wife was like, "Hey, I'll come with you." So we stopped in at our local coffee shop. I bet you I saw 5 people there that was like, "Hey," So of course we got to say hi and do this. And then there's another gentleman who has a paint store kind of close to it, and we parked in his parking lot. So of course we were like, hey, thanks for always letting us do that. And we talked to him about different stuff. In our little pocket, the FaceTime, I say little pocket, you can still walk down Main Street and see people, because you're going to see them at the post office, at the grocery store, at the football game, at the, I know people that spend thousands of dollars or more a month on Zillow leads on that. And they've built businesses like that. I don't know how sustainable that is, but I look at it in the respect here, and again, not because I know everybody, but I guarantee you that there's business that was done because we're locals of our one of our churches. You know, I've coached youth sports for however long, and I've said I've signed more contracts on the field or in the church parking lot, because we were involved and because we know it's that whole who knows you, loves you, trusts you thing, right? And we got to find those people. And then if we're meeting somebody for the first time, that's about where we're starting. I mean, I don't know if you've had it happen where you get into something, you're meeting somebody and you're like, hey, Jeff, how are you? Let's go look at houses. And you can tell from the maybe not the get go, the first house, you're like, and this is a bad fit. And that's when you're like,
Yeah.
because we don't need to go, you don't need that aggravation, nor do, and I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen that often, but it does, right? And that's miserable, right? I mean, there's you don't need those calls all the time. Jeff, what are you doing? Ron, what are you doing? And I keep saying it year after year when we business plan. I was like, I'd like less drama this year. I'd like less drama, and there's always, I guess it's a force of doing business, right? Because you somehow there's always one or two or whatever, and you just
Yeah,
never know.
no,
You just get
absolutely.
looking for everything that you can work on.
Sure. And again, we're in a people business and people are going to be people. And it's okay to, say, hey, person to person, not a good fit. And I think that does a better service to a client or a customer as opposed to just trying to put up with it, because at the end of the day, we have a fiduciary and we're going to work to fulfill that, of course, every second. But we don't need to have a difficult situation to where feelings get hurt or involved, because we still have a job to do.
Mm.
And we just want
Well,
to make
and
this
I
as
think,
possible.
and again, I don't know how you functioned with your stuff and you were able to tell people, go pound sand, kick rocks, whatever sometimes. But I will say, I know with me, sometimes it becomes a matter of ego, right? It's like, I got into this, I got to see this through.
Yeah.
I can't give up on this, and there was a point, I'm finally, almost 20 years into this where I'm like, okay, maybe I can turn down business. Hey, I know this isn't good. If this isn't a good fit, this is whatever. There are those times where you're like, man, I'm brand new at this. I got to make some money. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I don't care if they call me at 9 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go show them this, and you look back on that and you're like, why did I do that? I mean, and I don't know, I think my record in a day, and we were on a marathon pace, and these guys ended up buying something the next trip. But so I showed 24 houses one day. I mean, that's the worst I've done. I don't know about, like it was, I mean, again, some of those mama hit the door 5 minutes, and we kept on moving, right? And some of them were close together, so we were able to get that many. I don't know how I guess in this day and age you can take pictures and maybe it
Yeah.
happens, but
Right. Okay. Well, Jerome, one last question. So you had mentioned something about your calendar needs some work. Is there anything in your business that you're saying, I really would like to get this sorted in the next 3 to 6 months to a year that you feel would help your business grow or scale? Anything like that?
can I give you a to be continued on that one? Because
Please.
I need to figure that a little bit, I think it's probably working on that CRM still, right? I mean, I think that's the thing we hear about all the time. I tried Outlook for the longest time. Nah, I tried Top Producer. I've tried different things that are out there. So I do my own thing, and I think I do all right. But if there was a way to even streamline it a little bit, I think that would be. I mean, if we're thinking about, again, gun to my head, and what are you fixing? That's probably where I go, to start.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can totally offline about that. I would love to kind of pick your brain as to where you're going with that. I'm trying to figure stuff out like that on my own, because there's so many avenues that we can take, especially with all of these new technologies, AI and everything else. And it's just like, wow, there's so much out there. How can I actually use this? So
And I think that's another conversation offline, because again, we probably could do a whole podcast on that. But I
yeah,
think, I mean, you tell me, there's the one side where we need to use it to our advantage, or at least know it, and we're going to get left behind. But I think to the other part, for now, we're not going to get replaced because there's too much, until AI gets emotion and gets that stuff, there's way too much emotion and we're dealing with people. So I think it might be how fast we deal with people and how we can do that stuff. But I think for now, because we're helping them with one of the biggest purchases in their lives, you get to see the best and you get to see the worst, right?
yeah, I agree. And I think what is important for us to remember as realtors is how can we better serve the client? And I think if we can free up time in other aspects of our life with our business, we'll be that much better at serving our clients. So, all right, sir. Well, Jerome, thank you so much for being.
Yeah, I hope man, I probably talked way too much, and I apologize.
You're
I
so
think
good.
a little caffeine and I got going and I felt like I
I
was
love
running.
it.
So I appreciate the chance, man.
You're good, brother. No, I'm looking forward to uploading this. I'll get it over to you as well. This is a great, fun conversation, Jerome. Thanks so much.
Love it, man. I wish you a good rest of the day, and let's stay in touch. Your stuff's on it is on your email, right? Two
Uh,
seconds here.
I'll
Just
shoot you an email right back too, and I'll send you my cell.
okay. Sounds awesome. Right on, Jeff. Okay.
Talk later, Jerome. Have a good
All
day.
right, man. Take care. See ya.